on. We are live. What's going on, everyone? Thank you all so much for tuning in at this time. Everybody that's here, greatly appreciate it. Anybody watches on the replay, thank you so much. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Where has this Laker team been at? Right? Like, seriously, they actually look like a good basketball team. The effort, the energy, the rebounding, they were team rebounding and getting after it, working hard to, secure basketballs and stuff like that. Like, this was like, it's what you want to see if you're the Lakers, right? Or us Laker fans, right? It's like, man, like contributions from everybody, even the guys that had like kind of rough nights, right? Offensively, still were getting after it on defensive side and, hustling and rebounding and doing everything, right? It's just, this was one of their best games of the season, in my opinion, right? Just the effort, the energy, the consistency was there. I really liked that this team was getting after it, that they weren't, slacking off and, act like clearly wanted to try to win this game. This was a very good win by the Lakers. If we got this effort and this team more often than not, we'd probably be a top 3 to 5 seed. But that's the problem is, like, can we consistently get this effort night in and night out? I'm excited. It's great. I love what we saw. We'll give them their flowers, give them what's due, but we need to see this on a nightly basis, right? We need to see this regularly. This can't be something that's, a selective effort where it's like, okay, well, this game we're going to play, and then, we play Sacramento in 2 days, right? On Saturday? And it's like, okay, then we do that, and then, because they're going to bring the effort, right? They're not going to want to lose 2 straight on the road, right? They play them again on the road. They're not going to want to lose 2 straight, right? Like, so I really hope that that's not the case. I really hope that that the Lakers bring this effort, bring this energy on a nightly basis, right? Not just tonight. But diving into kind of the team and their performance tonight, and then we'll dive into all the super chats, all the regular chats. But Anthony Davis had a 21-20 game, 8 offensive rebounds, man. He was getting after it. Offensively, had a bit of a struggle, but they were also like packing him and doing everything they could to try to contain him the best to their ability. But 7 points, or 7 of 20 from the floor. Again, not ideal, but the 20 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, right? Like, that effort is what we need from a regular basis. Oh, and by the way, he had 6 blocks. Austin Reaves had a very good game. These are the games that I love from Austin Reaves. These are the games where I'm like, man, like, if he could just give you this level of performance on a nightly basis, he was cooking tonight, right? Like, and just nice stats across the board. 25 points, 3 steals, 5 assists, 5 rebounds, 7 of 14 from the floor, 3 of 7 from 3, 8 of 9 from the foul line. Again, just he was cooking tonight, right? Getting to his spots, being aggressive, right? Looking for the contact. I really liked what we saw from Austin Reaves tonight. I really liked, that kind of effort. Max Christie, man. Max Christie continues to just I love, obviously offensively, he hasn't quite put it all together. I mean, he gave you 8 points, 4 rebounds, 3 of which were offensive. He was 1 of 3 total from the field, 1 of 3 from 3. But it's his effort, the defense, the energy, how active he is. I mean, he got so many like hands on balls, pause, right? Like, so many like just second chance opportunities, right? Even the offensive rebounds that he didn't secure, him just getting the effort and trying to, keep that ball alive, or fighting and trying to scrap to go get it, allows the defense to get back, get set up, which then allows the Lakers to just be better defensively as a whole, right? I really like what Max Christie's doing. If his offensive game can kind of just come together, which I like the aggression, I like the physicality, I like that he's, not just settling, he's being aggressive, getting to the rim. It's just more so his 3-point shot. If his 3-point shot can just come down consistently, he's just getting better and better, getting better understandings, better grasp. You can see how badly he wants it, right? Like, he had a sequence where, he fell for the DeMar DeRozan pump fake, and he was just like going in on himself, right? Like he was just like, come on, Max, right? Like, you know better, right? Like, I love that. I love that he's taking it personal. He's taking it serious. He's looking at it as like, no, I need to be better. Which I love. I love what just the energy and effort he's providing. D'Lo had a really solid game, keeping things orchestrated, keeping things together, rebounding the basketball, but also contributing to points. 3-point shot wasn't there, but I do like that he's not settling as much this year. He's done a much better job of like getting into the paint, getting to that mid range, kind of working that mid range, as well as getting to the basket. Gabe Vincent had a very solid game. I really like, if we could get this out of Gabe Vincent on a nightly basis, this would be huge, right? 4 or 5 from 3, 12 points, also got 3 assists with 5 rebounds. Was aggressive. He had 4 fouls, but I love that, right? It shows that he's being aggressive. He's being physical. He's being active out there. Again, just a great overall effort. Rui Hachimura, he had his struggles this game. Man, that guy misses. I don't know why the Lakers have him as like untouchable. I don't know why the Lakers deem him as a guy that they don't want to trade. Look, I like Rui, I do, but he's inconsistent and he misses more like point blank layups. He missed like 3, like literally point blank layups this game, and it was just incredibly frustrating. But again, if we could get this level of effort on a nightly basis, again, we still need a trade, right? This doesn't mean like, oh, that's it. Lakers are back, baby. Like, no, none of that. But if we get this effort on a nightly basis until we get a trade, we're going to be in really good shape leading into the trade deadline. So hopefully that ends up coming. But nice, solid all-around game. But anyway, real quick, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. Let's get to over 100 likes. We're at 29 likes. So let's get over to 100 likes. And then let's get into all of the regular chat, all the super chats, all of that stuff. Speedy, 63 rebounds. Yeah, you got to love it. I love it. I love the effort, energy, just the scrappy play, right? Not settling. 63 rebounds, 22 assists, took care of the basketball, 11 turnovers, particularly in that second half, because we had like six or 7 in that first half. So to go from that to, cleaning it up, I like that. Good team effort, and right now it's time for a Rob Pelinka to make a trade. Yeah, look, I love this effort. I still want the Lakers to make a trade. I still need the Lakers to make a trade, right? My hope is that the Lakers keep providing this effort, keep playing at this level, so that way we can at least weather long enough and have a good enough record to where we don't have to panic trade or we don't have to rush the trade. Like I've said, the longer we can kind of tread water, the more time it kind of buys Rob Pelinka to get something done. Good team effort as it stands. Hopefully Gabe keeps this up as well. Yes, agreed. If we can get this effort and level from Gabe, that would be massive. Gabe and D'Lo played well. Yes, agreed. I'm right there with you. They getting that draft stock up. Yeah, hopefully, teams are taking notes and taking notice, right? What do you think about getting Steven Adams? I like Steven. I mean, big physical center. Doesn't really provide much outside of just rebounding wise. But defensively, he's not this like great defensive player. Again, he's kind of a guy lower on my totem pole, if I'm being honest. I wouldn't hate it. Like if the Lakers, if we got news tomorrow, the Lakers got Steven Adams. Talk about, again, a big physical, burly center. Offensively, he doesn't really give you much outside of just being that lob threat or the putback guy. Again, not my favorite, but I wouldn't hate it. Wait. We actually have a bench, and is 2023 playoff Reaves finally back. Let's go Lakers. W win. Let's make it 3 in a row. But please, Rob, make a trade. Get Jonas and Kuz. Supposedly, Lakers are like that. It's kind of what the reports are kind of leaning towards. Eventually will happen. We'll see how that plays out. But yeah, I mean, look, the bench showed up. We got the bench production, which is what you want to see, what you need. On top of that, Austin Reaves, like I mentioned, excellent game. Right? I'm not saying he has to give us 25 a night, but to me, it's just finding that consistency, right? Like my thing is like, he's just been inconsistent this season. Right? He's had these games, and then, the next like 3 games, he's like, the next Kings game, if he's 3 of 12, right? It's just like, we're back to that. So I love what we saw from this game. He definitely deserves a ton of praise, as I gave him. Like I always say, I believe I'm very fair, right? When guys deserve praise, when guys deserve, that like, hey, they did great, I give it to them. But when they don't, then they don't. Like, I'm not gonna praise somebody for, he, next 3 games he's terrible. It's like, that's my only thing, right? It's not. We know what Reaves can do when he's on. We know what Reaves can do when he's cooking. It's what can he do on a nightly, regular basis, right? Can he be that guy on a nightly, regular basis? Andrew, coming out $2 super chat. Thank you so much. LaVine just torched Boston. Yes, agreed. Zero excuses not to get him. Yes, and Denver's trying to push hard for Zach LaVine, which is, or they're very intrigued was I think the word that was actually used, which is very nerve wracking because, like I said, if Denver ends up getting Zach LaVine, it's very different. Right? Like I don't know how you beat them, right? Like, because he gives you the 3-point shooting that maybe not at the volume in which Michael Porter Jr. gives you, but he's more dynamic, right? He opens up so much more, gives you another secondary shot creator. It would completely change Denver. It would actually make them more dynamic. They'd be harder to defend, easier to score. That athleticism with Jokic would just it'd be ridiculous. So yes, I agree. Lakers really need badly to go pull that off before Denver comes in and swoops it up. But I appreciate you. Thank you. What's going on, Lakers Nation? Tyler, my bro, how are you, buddy? I am good. I am wonderful. Lakers got the win. Having a great live stream, right? We're all stoked. We're all excited. These are always the best. No, Lonzo, he's much too injury prone and just isn't good anymore. Yes. So I still got to make a video on Lonzo. I'm just very cautious, trying to be cautious about my videos. Like, usually I try to get ahead, have a couple videos scheduled. But the problem is we're at official trade season, and it's just I don't want to make 4 or 5 videos and then trade happens and now 4 of them are irrelevant. But I need to make a Lonzo video because the Lakers are apparently interested in Lonzo. Problem with Lonzo is, can he stay healthy, right? And in a perfect world, if you can kind of get Lonzo that we saw in Chicago before the injuries, oh my gosh, that'd be ridiculous, right? Because he was a 43%, 42% 3-point shooter. Defensively was just an absolute menace, right? His size, his length, his versatility, his playmaking. Him and LeBron actually played very well together during their first stint. But man, it's just the problem is just the injury issues, right? He's just the injury concerns are no joke. Can we finally get a trade now, Rob? Yeah, hopefully. We won. Nice job, guys. Yes. Trade deadline D'Lo is here. It's winning time. Yeah. Hey, whatever it takes, just win as many games as you can until we can pull off a trade. How did we play? I didn't get to watch the game. Honest opinion. Honestly, this was one of our best games, in my opinion, as far as start to finish effort. Right? We've had some great games. We've had some good games, but this was really a team effort. Everyone contributed. Everyone chipped in. Even the guys that struggled offensively still impacted the game in other ways. The effort was there literally from start to finish. Third quarters, we're always worried, right? It's man, Lakers only up 4. This is going to be a disaster. And no, Lakers kept throwing those punches, right? Basketball's a game of runs. Obviously, you're going to have, Kings run, and we're up 14, and then Sacramento comes back, and then we're down 7 or whatever it was, and then we punched back, and then it was just the back and forth until it was time to ramp it up, turn it on, and then boom, threw that haymaker. But they were going back and forth between, which was great to see. So, yes, in my opinion, this was one of the better, if not arguably the best game of the Lakers season so far. Just want to remind everyone that Zach LaVine has only played in 4 playoff games and lost them all. Yeah, but you got to keep in mind, right? Basketball is a game of 5-on-5, right? And matchups and opponents, right? Big difference. Him playing in 4 playoff games and losing all of them. Was he the only guy playing, right? And there's a big difference. Again, big difference between Zach LaVine, number 1, number 2 option, and Zach LaVine as your 3rd option. Very big difference. Good win. Man, we need Zach, though. He dropped 36 of the Celtics, got the BFX. I am right there with you. Finally, Gabe. Finally, yes, seriously. If we can get this effort from Gabe on a regular basis, he was great on both sides of the basketball. This was the Gabe Vincent we've been looking for, right? He didn't go off and drop 30, right? But he went and gave you solid numbers, was hitting the open shot, playing defense, being aggressive, being physical, rebounding the basketball. This was just a great all-around effort from Gabe. This is probably his best game so far as a Laker. I think the Lakers move up to 6th with Denver's loss. Possibly. Is it updated? Let me see if it's updated yet. Hang on a second. Let's see. Pull this over. You might be right. Dang, Cat had 32 and 20. Dude, talk about just laying it like a terrible decision and mistake. Lakers are tied for 6th right now because they have more losses. So they have more losses. So their Lakers are 15 and 12. Denver is 11, 14 and 11. So losses. But Lakers, both Denver and the Lakers are 6.5 games back. Lakers are two games out of 4th and 3 games out of really like 2nd, right? They're 3.5 games out of 2nd. One good push, man. You're right there. So don't get too excited at all. No, not at all. Again, this was a great game. We can judge the game in the moment. It's okay to live in the moment a little bit, but as I mentioned earlier, we need to see this consistent effort. Lakers can put a game again. Lakers can beat anybody on a random night, but it's can they do this on a nightly basis? It's hard to beat a team twice in like a 3-day span. So to me, even if they lose that game against Sacramento, what do they look like? Is the effort still there? Is the energy? Is the hustle? All of that. If it's one of those things where it's like they're slacking off and they're not hustling and they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, then yeah, now we have another problem. Oh, we actually blew them out. The fans walking out early is the best part. Yeah, it's always the best. You'll love that. You gotta love that. You should look if ESPN is your source for rankings. I don't know what to tell you. Go look at some of the insane rankings ESPN does. You gotta remember, ESPN wants clicks. Some of the stuff they say is ridiculous. They have guys like Kendrick Perkins making decisions on like who's better than who, right? Like Kendrick Perkins publicly on national television said Trae Young was getting traded to the Lakers. We're still waiting for that to happen. So again, Tyler Jonas and Kuz. Gotta be trolling. Kuzma cannot shoot, and Jonas can't defend. This is a joke. Look, I mean, supposedly the Lakers have Kuz, and are interested in Kuz and Valanciunas. I did make a video for the morning. So, who was it? It was Sports Illustrated. Darn it, I can't remember the name off the top of my head. But it's somebody that's like regular. Like if I can think of the name, everyone would know who it is. But he said he reported that Lakers are really interested in Valanciunas and Robert Williams III. It really kind of feels like Lakers are going to try to get both in one swing, right? So what I mean by that is Jeremy Grant and Kyle Kuzma's asking prices both just got lowered at the same time. They're both now available for 1 first. My guess is the Lakers wait to see which team bites first and go for both. Like, I think that they'll try to get like Kuz and Valanciunas, or they'll get Robert Williams and Jeremy Grant. I think that's what it'll be. It'll kind of be like instead of trying to piece it all together type thing. So look out for that. But, look, I wish I had a say and opinion. Look, Kuzma and Valanciunas are by far my favorite options. However, there are some benefits and there are some positives with both. Also, Kuzma is like elite shooting the basketball from the corners, but specifically the strong side corner, which is where he would be slotted in. And that's where the Lakers generate most of their three-point action at, in that corner, right? The corners. So I wouldn't be shocked if Kuz actually is like a very good three-point shooter. He also had his like best shooting seasons with the Lakers. So again, not my favorite. It's not my favorite options at all. If it happens, we'll talk about it. So yeah. Let's see. Austin Reaves was literally the first one I gave credit to. Like, what are you talking about? You need to go rewind and watch the video again. Go start it from the beginning. Yeah, look at LaVine giving Boston 35. Just because you missed me talking about Austin Reaves doesn't mean that I didn't talk about Austin Reaves. We get it, Austin Reaves lovers. If you're not talking about Austin Reaves every 20 seconds, you hate Austin Reaves. I get it. What a night. And look at Cardio Gabe. So inspirational. Facts, right? Like, this was great. This was like his best game as a Laker. Seriously, like, this was great. I really love his performance, his effort, his energy. Let's see. Well, thank you. I appreciate you. Austin can defend, bro. Can't defend, bro. That's why. Let's see. Yeah, yo, league. Yeah, facts. See what Gabe can do. He's available. Come get him. We are willing to part with him. He'll give you a good game and a good cardio. Eddie Takers. Yeah, seriously. Let's see. We played a no defensive team. A win is a win. Still need to trade for Zach, Io, and Craig. Yeah, look, I'm 100% for it. They are terrible defensively, but again, it was the effort, it was the energy. They're also very good offensively. So, and look, this is one of those games that you're like, uh-oh, right? Wait, why are Lakers winning when I'm not watching the game, bro? Maybe I'm bad luck. Maybe it's me. Maybe it is you, Cloud. No more Laker games for you, my guy. But no, look, it was the effort. It was the energy. It was great. I'm not gonna lie, Murray is trash. He's playing with a bunch of nobody. Like, their entire roster is hurt, right? Like, it's kind of hard to judge Murray when his best player on the court, is like Herb Jones. Let's see. Don't know his ego. He'll ban you. I don't. Who are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, this is to a comment about somebody else. Okay. I was like, what? Now I get it. Okay. You were adding to a comment earlier. I'm glad we didn't get Dejounte. I still like the idea of Dejounte personally. I still think Dejounte makes a lot of sense. See, funny thing is, if Lakers make the Nets trade happen, this could happen every game. I'm right there with you, right? Like, you definitely wouldn't have to worry about the effort and all that stuff. So, just hyper carried Boston with 36 points on insane efficiency. I'm with you. I'm right there with you. Yeah, I see Laker Nation. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you for the clarification. I didn't see the previous comment earlier. Hey, Tyler, did you see Zach? Yes. I didn't actually see the game, but I saw after. Yeah, that dude is 100% A1. I'm telling you, go get LaVine. Get it over with. Go get Dorian Finney-Smith and Cam. No major moves needed yet. Look, I would love Dorian Finney-Smith and Cam Johnson. Didn't Cam Johnson just drop like 40? Didn't he just have like a 40-piece game? That dude is having an insane season, right? I would love to get Cam Johnson, but it's just, how much will it cost? The Lakers even able to get him at this point? Austin Reaves, dog. Yeah, this game it was absolutely. Like I said, I like Austin Reaves. I just think if you can get a better player, get a better player. Stands over. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. LaVine, Io, Dorian Finney-Smith, Sharp, or Kessler, if lucky, makes them unstoppable. I'm right there with you. Start trying to find something. Me. Austin Reaves' best game as a Laker this season. Yeah, definitely. Because just the aggression, the effort, the energy, the playmaking, like putting it all together. Yes. I don't think you should count on Bron in the regular season unless he's on an absolute heater anymore. I've accepted reality. I've never been delusional with these things. Yeah, I mean, look, but you shouldn't have to, right? Like, Like, that's the whole point of having a team. Obviously, on a random night, like there's games where you're probably going to need him to go and really kind of take over and dominate and close out, right? But to me, it's more about getting to the playoffs with a healthy LeBron and then trusting that LeBron can kind of turn it up for that stretch. 4 games a series type thing. Yes, 100%. Christie is, which is why I was screaming, even when everyone told me I was an idiot. I was screaming, you gotta go, you gotta stick with the young buck. He didn't get his figure it out season. He never got that. Darvin Ham never played him. He refused to play him, and now he's in the figure it out season. And look, he's had some bad moments. He's had some terrible decision makings. What was it? SGA, that SGA foul, right? But you got to live with it. It's frustrating at times when you see him just make a silly play or something. You're just like, come on, Max, right? But you have to live with it. You have to let him get through his work. You have to let him get through his kinks. Yeah, Mac's defense is beautiful. He's just athletic and versatile. Mac's overrated. I don't think personally. I don't think you can call him overrated because people were ready to let him release him for free a month ago, right? We're all old enough to remember some of those live streams where we were having conversations. People were like, Tyler, you're an idiot. Get rid of Max. Look, I don't think he's untradeable, right? Even as great as he's been playing right now. I don't think anyone on this roster should be untradeable. Nobody, right? LeBron James and Anthony Davis are probably the closest thing, and I still want to keep Connect. I know Connect's having his struggles. He's kind of just in his head, but I do think that, I do think he's a guy you got to keep. You got to trust the process. He'll figure it out. As soon as he'll have that game where everything just kind of opens up for him, and then he'll be back to being Connect. It happens. I mean, Steph just went, 0 of 6 and 0 of 7 from 3 or something crazy like that. He's the greatest shooter to ever shoot, right? He's the greatest shooter to ever pick up the basketball, right? But yeah, like I said, he has. I see that, you said it's the bonehead plays you're thinking about. Yeah, I get it. It's frustrating. But you got to remember, he never got that figure it out. He never got that consistency. Yeah, he would start on a random night, but still only play 10 minutes. Right? It's kind of hard to go from 0 to 100, right? To go from no role to we need you to be our best defensive player, our legit, we need you to go from not playing ever to KCP overnight. It's just, there's very few players ever in the history that have done it. And he's 21 years old. He's a kid. He's younger than our draft pick this year by 3 years, right? It's the entire package, right? But I get it. I get the frustrations. No worries. LaVine would essentially be Kyrie for LeBron. It slots him into the role he should play. Agreed. How's it going, Tyler? What's up, Blecka? What's up, buddy? It's going good. Lakers got the win. Back from my vacation, still tired, still feeling the lack of sleep during that stretch, but we're here, we're winning. I love it. If Gabe went points tonight, we might had lost, so he is our MVP. Gabe was great. Yeah. And he has that capability of doing that regularly, which is the point. Zach LaVine would be our best natural scorer. Doesn't mean the best player. Talk about pure scorer, vacuum scorer. That's Zach LaVine. That's what Zach LaVine is. Yes, and Lakers win. Feeling that. Yep. LaVine is that guy. Yes, I am with you. Pause. That was the best pause I've heard. But we need a big. If they're one thing, no offense. No offense to Koloko. But you're not it. We need a big ASAP. Rui cannot be a center at this point in the game. Yeah, we definitely need a center. And first off, yes, my brain works faster than my mouth sometimes. But yeah, look, I like Koloko a lot, but we got to keep in mind. And I even talked about Koloko on AS the Lakers show, and I talked about how he's starting to come into his own, and he's starting to figure some stuff out there. And I really like what he's provided, because you got to keep in mind this guy went from a project already to he's probably 2-3 years away to missing 2 years to now you're going to have to be our backup center out the gate. And you've seen it. Like, he's had his struggles, he's had his rough stretches, but he's also done some really nice things out there on the basketball court. I like what we're seeing from him personally. Let's see. What happened to Laker fans? We settle for role players like Austin, then going to get a star. Yeah, I mean, look, and that was always the Lakers' history. Go get the stars. There is absolutely no way people would rather have Gabe, D'Lo, and Rui than somebody capable of decimating the two best teams in the league. I agree. I've said this before. Like, and again, I tell people all the time, look it up. Look the stuff up. Zach LaVine by himself is giving you the same production as Rui, D'Lo, and Gabe combined. You know, games like this, obviously not, but you look at kind of what they've done all season. Zach LaVine is literally the three of them rolled into one, right? Like, so people talk about, like, people are like, oh, what about the depth? What about the depth? What depth? We don't have depth, you know, like, that's the problem. It's just, it's frustrating, but, you know, more and more people are coming around. More and more people are joining my side, right? Or our side now, right? We're leading the LaVine cult, right? Steaks coming out, $2 super chat. Thank you so much. Defense is getting stronger and stronger each game. Yes, I really like the defensive effort the last few games. And this was honestly probably the first game in which they put it together the entirety of the game, right? Like, that's the difference, right? Because we've seen the Lakers have like a good quarter or a good half, but the entire game, this was that kind of effort. This was that type of game where they were night in or possession after possession getting after it. Did they have some, you know, some mishaps and slumps? Yeah, but that's part of the game, right? It's part of the ebbs and flows of the game. And they did an excellent job getting back in transition because Lakers have been terrible in transition. And top of being terrible in transition, Sacramento was just trying to, on made baskets or missed baskets, just trying to immediately get back. Lakers did a very good job. I mean, everybody. I mean, even D'Lo was clamping up, getting steals, disrupting passing lanes. Like, everybody was doing an excellent job. Reaves, you name it, right? It was excellent. I love what we saw. Let's see. Just lost my spot. Yeah, the Warriors lost by like, what, 50, 52, something like that? Well, they were down 52. Yes, LaVine is fantastic. How LaVine torched the best defenders in the league. He's not guardable yet. I am with you. I'm with you, Elijah. 100%. If he develops that offensive game and gets that 3-and-D game, he's going to be tough. Maybe that. Oh, yeah, that's true. I know they announced that like early in the game that there was like 15 of his family members or whatever there. We need LaVine, or we need Zach. I am right there with you. Believe me, I am the biggest Zach LaVine guy there is. Maybe Andrew. I'll give it to Andrew. Andrew's probably the biggest Zach LaVine guy. I'll take second. But I'm right there with him. Do you think if we're able to pull off the Nets trade, we would have to overpay like the Nets have the most sought after pieces? I think it depends on what it is. I mean, it's always a possibility, you know, because teams are pushing hard for you know, guys like Dorian Finney-Smith, stuff like that. I do think it's very possible to go land Dorian Finney-Smith. Cam Johnson is the one that I'm kind of like, that one might be tough, right? The Cam Johnson is probably the one that is least likely, although he's the one that I want the most. But yeah, it's very possible. Austin's value is high now. Yeah. Problem is Lakers won't ever trade him. Equals a bag of bread and shrimp. Watching Brown guard him, he's literally taller than Brown or the same height yet. Don't trade Max or Reaves. I'm not, like I said, I don't think you should. I don't think anyone's untradeable, but there is definitely like that, like you start here and you work your way down type thing. I think it just depends on what it is. Over under for Sabonis at 43.5. Yeah, I saw that. I saw those reports. It's frustrating. I hope it's just like a tactic, right? I already record. I have a video scheduled over on AIS the Lakers show. Um, because I yeah, I really hope that that's just a tactic, right? Best time to trade Reaves. DeMar DeRozan were in the game. Yeah, I agree. I said it. People told me I didn't know what I was talking about. Um, yeah, here we are. Tyler, would you still trade Reaves for LaVine? LOL, don't let one great game fool you. Yeah, 100%. Like, if that's what it absolutely took, yes, I would. LaVine is better than Zach LaVine. Or Zach LaVine is better than Austin Reaves, right? So the only reason I don't like really talk about um Zach LaVine or Austin Reaves in a Zach LaVine trade is because I don't think you have to, right? Like Chicago wants to just get off of them, right? Like I'm not against trading Austin Reaves, but if you don't have to trade Austin Reaves and you can use Austin Reaves to go make another move, then I'd rather do that, right? Like I'd rather use Austin Reaves and then or go get Zach LaVine and then use Austin Reaves to go get that other piece that maybe makes more sense around, like a point of attack guard, some athleticism, something like that. Oh, Aferne buzzer beater. Nice. Thank you, Aferne Simons. Um, let's see. Oh, here we go. You do not want to trade Reeves. We saw how the team fell apart when he went out injured. Doesn't matter if the trade value is high right now. Well, it depends on what you get, right? Like Austin Reeves as like that other scoring option. Like he's the only guy that we really have right now that does that. But if you go get a Zach LaVine, right, or you go get a Brandon Ingram or one of these guys that can give you that on efficiency, then you don't need Austin Reeves as much. Now you're fine. Is the point, right? So it's not about like, oh, Austin Reeves. Obviously, look, Lakers are better right now with Austin Reeves than without because, again, he's the guy that we have that's running as the third guy that has the ball in his hands that is capable of having nights like tonight. But if you have that guy that's just better than that and gives you the same thing and is better slotted in that third role, then you don't have the need for Austin Reeves as much, right? That's the difference. Andrew, the Lakers keep Rui. They need to sell the franchise CFX. I'm really hoping that it's so. Jovan Buha, I believe, was the one that first mentioned that and said, um, that they see him as a player for the future, but they're not. That doesn't mean that they won't trade him. They just don't want to essentially like give him away. And then the Athletic came in and basically reiterated that like yeah, it's kind of the same thing. They don't want to just give him away. They look at him as a future piece. They don't want to trade him if they don't have to. I hope that that's just a sales tactic, right? Like, hey man, like we really like that, right? We really like Rui. We don't want to, because not just that, Rui's probably your second best value as far as players go. Austin Reeves is probably the highest, and then Rui Hachimura is probably next. Let's see. I like Reeves' contract. Well, I mean that's what's great about Reeves is his contract. But to me, like I care more about winning championships than his contract. You know what I mean? Celtics lost to LaVine. Facts. I think it's nice the players have gotten their value up. Yeah. If we can get LaVine and Reeves on this team, it's perfection. My concern is the defensive backcourt, right? Like I'm not against keeping Reeves if you get LaVine, but I think I think Reeves has to go to the bench. I think at that point Reeves has to be the sixth man. If Reeves is willing to be the sixth man and you go get LaVine, then yes, I think the Lakers could be terrifying. But that's what you need. I never trusted DeRozan ever as a Cavs fan. I'd count on him underperforming every series 2016 through 2018. Yeah, I get that. What's going on, Ryan? Appreciate you being here. Douglas Archo. Good game, yes. Does nothing apart from shoot the least productive shot in the game. The midi wins the trade. Your guess is as good as mine at this point. Hopefully sooner rather than later. Let's see. Also, Tyler, what happened to Dalton? Bro lost all his confidence and cannot make a three to save his life. Bro needs to lock in because we need him. Yes. I mean, look, he's a rookie, right? You see, vets go through these slumps where he's in his own head is the problem. I mean, even the commentator was like, he needs, he's, it's affecting everything else, right? Like, you can't buy a bucket. He needs that game, right? And I'm not saying he has to go like a 40-point game. I'm talking about he needs that game where he goes like 4 or 5 from 3 and he'll flip back, right? His confidence is down right now. He's having his struggles. It's affecting his defense, right? Which means like, hey, we can't play you because you're not shooting the lights out and you're not doing that. I like that JJ keeps sticking with him, right? I like that JJ is like, because JJ was a shooter. He gets it, right? Connect only played 10 minutes, but it's also because he was really bad in those 10 minutes. If he's out there and he's cooking, then he probably plays more than 10 minutes. It's just, again, it's the ebbs and flows of being a rookie and, trying to navigate the league for the first year. This is figure it out year. Got to figure it out, right? He'll get more consistent. He'll get more comfortable as we progress. But I do agree. We absolutely need him. Clint Capella, he's for sale. I don't hate the idea of Clint Capella. I've talked about Clint Capella before. I like that he's an expiring contract. Like, I like that a lot because if it works, great. Then you can like re-sign him to like a Valanciunas deal, like 3 years, 30 million or something like that. And then clear like 10 million off your books. And then LeBron James can take a discount and you might be able to go get like some key pieces. However, the problem is just he's not the Clint Capella Bowl. He's still one of the better offensive rebounders, but particularly shot blocking and defensively is where the troubles lie. So that's the thing. Yes, good win tonight. Keens might be terrible. Damn. Yeah, look, I talked about it. Everything possible to lose the game. LaVine plus Reaves plus Max plus AD plus LeBron lineup gonna steamroll. I am all for it. Although I would prefer, like, if you can get Dorian Finney-Smith, I would go LaVine, Max, Dorian Finney-Smith, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis. Have Reaves be your sixth man. But either way, let's see. Dennis play versus Grizzlies. I don't think he's played yet. Capella, then LaVine, and Ayo. Capella's making like 20 million. So the problem is, like, you're talking like, I mean, you can. It's not impossible, but you're talking like 70 million. Let's see. Small sample size, but the last 2 games, they have found the balance between offense and defense when they usually focus on one side of the ball, which causes the other side of the ball to fall apart. Yes, I'm right there with you, Dylan. Did Dennis did play today? Okay. 7 seed, baby, for now. Yeah, tied for 6. Like I said, we're in the thick of it. So, we're in the thick of it. I thought DeRozan would be bad for them offensively, but defensively is terrible. Yeah, it's the problem. And the thing is, they didn't need him. Right? Which is why I said that was the worst decision that they could have made. They basically sabotaged their team. Right? And look at what Harrison Barnes is doing from a 3-and-D perspective, right? For the Spurs, right? They needed other 3-and-D guys, right? Keegan Murray can't defend. Sabonis can't defend the rim. Like, they're not good defensively. You were great offensively, pace, all of that. You didn't need another isolation, doesn't shoot 3. Like, it made 0 sense. And I broke this down and I talked about it, and now look. I feel like LaVine is pretty low on the front office trade list. I feel like that too. I'm hoping it's one of those things, though, where we've seen the Lakers do it before, where, it's Lakers have all these targets, all that stuff, and then all of a sudden, boom, here's the guy, and everyone's like, oh, what? The problem with getting rid of Reaves for LaVine is you lose your creativity. I disagree, because Zach LaVine opens up more for the Lakers, primarily because of his athleticism, his rim pressure, his ability to create for himself. Yes, Austin Reaves can do those things, but he's not a guy that can just blow by the defender, right? He's not Reaves is not, he can shoot over the top, but he more looks for the contact and then throws it up. Where LaVine can just rise up, knock it down pretty much anywhere. Catch and shoot, 3-point shooting is just, he's just better. You actually, from a singular standpoint, I understand your argument. But from an overall offensive construct, you have so many more options offensively on what you can potentially do because you have a guy in Zach LaVine who is just a much better scorer, more athletic, more versatile, and just better at, again, applying rim pressure, so on and so forth. So, and then Andrew coming out $2 ship check. They're not going for LaVine. Sadly, Lakers are cooked. That's, like I mentioned earlier. My hope is, fingers crossed, is that if it's one of those things where my hope is other teams play games with the Lakers and the Lakers are almost forced to go get LaVine, or it's like we can go do this and trade everything, or just go get LaVine and save the assets and then work on this other trade, right? Like that's kind of my hope, right? At least. But yeah, I hope that it's kind of just smoke, right? Lakers don't want to like show their hand, because also you got to keep in mind when the Lakers want somebody, everybody wants somebody, right? Like you hear it all the time. Lakers are interested in this player, and then all of a sudden 15 teams are like, well, we want this guy, right? Like my hope is that that's what this is, that it's just Lakers want to kind of keep it hush-hush. Fingers crossed. I heard Michael Porter Jr. fits better with the Nuggets, Mike Malone in shambles. So as far as like that off-ball shooter, that 3-and-D shooter, yes, right? He's just better volume, like what he provides. However, Zach LaVine makes them more dynamic, right? Like what I talked about with the Lakers, and just the more you just have more creativity on the offensive side of things, right? Having a guy like Zach LaVine who can create for himself, still play off ball, still catch and shoot, right? Maybe not to the degree of Michael Porter Jr., but that's like his game. Like that's what he's best at. But he still has that catch and shoot ability. However, he also, with the rim pressure and with the athleticism and his ability to kind of get downhill, Jokic on the block, and he's able to just wheel and deal. And you have Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon and their athleticism and their leaping ability and stuff. I mean, it just, you would, again, open, people are looking at it, at least in my opinion, people are looking at it as like replacing Michael Porter Jr. rather than like what direction they would go without Michael Porter Jr., right? People are looking at the type of offense and the style in which they play right now with Michael Porter Jr. And it's like, well, if you get rid of Michael Porter Jr., then you need to find somebody that can play that style or provide that style. Like I've seen people argue that they'd prefer Brandon Ingram over Zach LaVine because Brandon Ingram kind of gives you that long, lengthy kind of three, rather than with Zach LaVine, you're kind of smaller. Not really worried about being small with Jokic down low. We saw Jokic average 30, 11, and 8 against the 4-time Defensive Player of the Year and Karl Anthony Towns, 2 7-footers. Like they weren't even there, right? And they almost single-handedly win that series, right? So, I mean, they were up 20. They should have won that series, right? So, again, people are looking at how Denver operates right now and are like, okay, well, they can't operate that way unless they replace. Well, yeah, that's why they'll operate in a different manner. That is probably going to be better. They would just be harder to guard. Because with Michael Porter Jr., you know what they want to do, and you know what's coming. With Zach LaVine, you don't, right? Like that. Those are the differences. So yeah, and just better playmaking. Like I mean, I could probably spend an hour talking about the differences. Bringing LaVine to the Lakers, I am right there with you. Let's see. LaVine literally shoots at Michael Porter Jr.'s volume and more efficient. Yeah, this season. What's a realistic offer we can give without giving up our best? I mean, it depends on what you're looking to get done. No, obviously you're not going to get probably a premier guy outside of like LaVine. Like LaVine and Ingram are probably like the cheapest high ceiling raiser guys. But just like in general, right? So like, let's keep it more realistic. I guess let's say Dorian Finney-Smith and Day'Ron Sharpe, right? Like you could do like D'Lo and like a Maxwell Lewis for that, and then maybe a couple seconds, 2-3 seconds. I don't see it being much more than that. At worst, maybe 4, right? Like something like that. Now you got a 3-and-D Wayne, you got a legit backup center. Kyle Kuzma and Valanciunas, I think you could probably get both for a first. Jeremy Grant and Robert Williams, I think you could probably get for a first and then some, first and a pick swap, and then just kind of salary match. So it just depends on what it is. Kuzma did not improve as a basketball player since leaving. He legit cannot shoot and is a mid defender. Horrible. Jonas is the worst defender in the NBA. So yes and no. So what Kyle Kuzma got to do, which Lakers would have to kind of reel in a little bit and kind of focus it. When he was with the Lakers, he was primarily just 3-and-D, right? Defend, shoot 3 ball, right? However, when he went to Washington, what became was his ability to operate more as a self-creator, right? Making plays for himself, making plays for others, kind of getting to his spots, learning what those spots are. More of just an offensive scorer. He's not great, not efficient, not elite. Again, that's why he's not my favorite option. However, I do think if the Lakers can hone that in and kind of get him to better shot selection, as well as take a majority of his threes from the corner, where he is actually very good at. I think that could open things up. Also, defensively, big difference when you're on a team that's 4 and 78 every year, right? Than a team like the Lakers that are trying to push, right? And you have Anthony Davis, you have that stuff, and you're being asked to defend and also not have to score as much, right? You can get the better balance. So I do think that there are some pros. I do understand why people look at Kuz like, oh, he didn't really improve as a basketball player. He did, just not to the level in which people thought he would, right? Because he's not that guy. If he's your first, second guy, maybe even your third guy, you might be in trouble. But as kind of just like that sizable, versatile wing that can hit the corner 3 and defend and buy in on the defensive side, he's not terrible. Again, not my favorite option. I'm not saying I want Kuz by any stretch, but again, it wouldn't be the worst thing, is my point. What's up, bro? I'm finally feeling better. Well, wonderful. Appreciate you. Thank you for popping in. Glad you're doing better. Glad you're feeling better. Love to see it. I'm not as opposed to LaVine as I was. But what would you rather have, LaVine himself or get a Jonas Kuz and Colin Sexton? Just curious to hear your thoughts. Look, I've talked about, I think if you can get 3 or 4 guys, right, it would just be better than just like, I like Zach LaVine as far as like a singular trade that raises the ceiling, right? If it's like Dorian Finney-Smith and Day'Ron Sharpe or Zach LaVine, give me Zach LaVine. If it's like, Kyle Kuzma and Jonas Valanciunas, give me Zach LaVine, right? If it's something like that, or like a Jeremy Grant, give me Zach LaVine. If it's, like from like a singular point, right? I prefer Zach LaVine. However, if you could get, a Valanciunas, a Kyle Kuzma, Colin Sexton, and then like go get a Martin, right? Blake, I was gonna say Caleb, but it's not Caleb, it's Cody. There we go. Cody Martin, right? I think that overall, yes, would be better than just Zach LaVine by himself, right? Because you're more versatile, you got 3-and-D wings, you got multiple different looks and attacks, you got multiple size guys. But that's harder to do than just going and getting Zach LaVine and then going and getting like a Dorian Finney-Smith and Day'Ron Sharpe, right? It's easier to just, which is why I mentioned earlier, I think the Lakers are trying to get like as much as possible in one trade, right? I think that's why you hear they're interested in Robert Williams. Who else have they been linked to for 6 months now on Portland besides Robert Williams? Oh, Jeremy Grant, right? So now you get the 3-and-D wing and you get the center. Okay, well, Kyle, Valanciunas or Kyle Kuzma, and Valanciunas, Dorian Finney-Smith, Day'Ron Sharpe, right? Like, that's kind of what it looks like the Lakers are trying to do. My point is, if it's Zach LaVine or you can solve all of your issues, I'd rather solve all the issues. But if it's like we can solve some but not all, then I'd rather just go get Zach LaVine because it gives you the best ceiling rings, personally. Laker fans are. This community is actually pretty good about, like, period. I mean, I don't know what it's like on other channels, but like, even when we lose, like, people are still pretty good to each other. I don't get a lot of, like, craziness, on occasion, but for the most part. Let's see. Who we evaluated off of one playoff run? Gabe Vincent. But who gave us another masterclass? Gabe Vincent. Yeah. Let's see. All right, I'm gonna go about 5 more minutes, and then I'm gonna skate on out of here. So here's the thing about Valanciunas, right? And I get this, and I get this point brought up a lot. Like, look at Valanciunas basically got played off the court by the Lakers. That's gonna happen. Huge difference when a guy is your starting center and you're looking for him to play 35 to 40 minutes, as opposed to your backup center and you're looking for him to play 15 to 20 minutes, right? It's not the same thing, right? So, like, in the Pelicans case, they didn't have an Anthony Davis that they could just plug in, right? They had to go small. They had to go small ball and kind of try to figure it out from there and kind of stretch us out wide. Where the Lakers, they're not looking for Valanciunas to be their starting center, right? Like, he's going to be going up against bench units and bench players and stuff like that. Also, you can slot Anthony Davis alongside Valanciunas. The Pelicans didn't have that, right? They had Zion Williamson alongside Valanciunas. It's not the same, right? I get the concern, and I get, again, Valanciunas is probably, there's 5 other centers I'd prefer over Valanciunas. However, Valanciunas, he has his cons. Don't get me wrong. There are concerns, but he would be fine. He might actually be one of the best, like, options for, like, right now, right? Like, Day'Ron Sharpe, I prefer. I think he comes in and plugs in and helps a lot. But long term, right, it's kind of more what you're looking for Day'Ron Sharpe for, right? He's 23, gives you that long-term progression. You look at Robert Williams, right? I'd rather have Robert Williams. Can he give you more than 40 games? Right, is the question, right? Where Valanciunas, he's giving you 70 to 80 games a season, right? So, again, best ability is availability, right? Obviously, Walker Kessler is my favorite option. Is he even really available, right? Like, supposedly he's off the market now. And we got reports today that the Jazz have turned down multiple trade offers for him, right? Like, Clint Capella gives you better defense, but I also like the idea of Valanciunas as a settler, right? Lakers, 2 games ago, Lakers went on like a 6-minute scoring drought. It'd be nice to have a guy that we can just dump the ball down to, and he can go to work, can make plays out of the post. There's a lot of pros and cons. Like I said, if we end up trading for him, I'll break it down more in depth, and we'll go over the pros and cons. But again, it's not my favorite option, right? But there's a big difference between Valanciunas on the Lakers and Valanciunas on the Lakers or the Pelicans. If I don't see LaVine doing a podcast with a LA hat on in the next few days, EFX. Let's see. My point exact. Oh yeah, you get the trolls for sure. Yeah, you get the people. But look, trolls make the world go around. Right? Like, they don't bother me. They're not doing what they think they're doing. They think that they're, like, disruptive. All they're doing is helping the Lakers or helping the stream. They're helping the stream. They're adding engagement. It's why even like in the comment section, I've talked about this before. Even in the comment section, I'll like respond to trolls because they always respond back. Always, always, right? So if I see a video where I'm like, I could use a couple more comments, and I see, like, what is it, just that guy or whatever that's in like every go, I'm like, perfect. And I'll be like, like say something, and then he's just boom, 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 boom. So gets the engagement. Little tricks, little tricks. All right, couple more questions. I'm gonna skate on out of here. Andrew coming hot with a super chat. If Denver gets LaVine, it's over. Please explain, Tyler. Yeah, because offensively, how dynamic they would be. They'd be the best version we've seen of Denver, right? Or they have the capability of. Right. The only thing that's stopping Denver is injuries, obviously, right? Like if they stay healthy, I don't think anybody beats them, let alone the Lakers. The Lakers definitely have like no shot. I mean, we can't beat them without LaVine. You add in LaVine to Denver, it's just LaVine makes them more dynamic, right? And especially look at Jamal Murray. And like you don't know what Jamal Murray is going to show up. You don't know if you're getting like 5-point Jamal or you're getting 50-point Jamal, right? Like he's just like so hot and cold now. Like the days of him battling with Donovan Mitchell in the playoffs and both dropping 50, these days are long gone. Zach LaVine would give you that guy that when Jamal's cooking, he can still operate. He can still be that scorer. He can still play off ball. He's incredibly efficient. Gives you a ton of efficiency. It opens more off also offensively. I mentioned it earlier. People are looking at Denver's style of offense right now, and they're like, "Oh, you have to replace Michael Porter Jr. with somebody similar." No, because you're running it. You're not going to run the same type of offense. You're more dynamic now. It would be silly to run the same type of offense. Right now, you have athletes in Aaron Gordon and Zach LaVine, and people are worried like, "Oh, Denver's going to be small." Right? You're the biggest center in the league, right? Like Jokic just went up against Karl Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert, a 4-time Defensive Player of the Year, and torched him. Averaged 30, 11, and 8 in that series, right? Like you're fine, right? Aaron Gordon can still go get you 8 rebounds a game. Zach LaVine's going to go get you 5 or 6. Jamal Murray's going to get you 5 or 6. Right? Like you'll be fine out there on the perimeter. You'd be okay, but you'd be much more athletic, more versatile, more dynamic. You have a secondary playmaker, shot maker, guy that can just do more self-shot creation. You're not so reliant on Jokic to do everything and get everything going. Like it would just be, they would be literally unstoppable. They're already a top offense. They're 5th in offensive efficiency, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know about after the game tonight, but last I checked, they were like 5th in offensive efficiency. They would easily be probably top 2 or 3 in the league at that point. But it's not even just about the efficiency. They just be much more dynamic, as I mentioned. Funky Con coming out $2 super chat. Prime Duncan or current Giannis Jokic? Give me Jokic. Yeah, Tim Duncan is probably the best power forward ever. Arguably, I still think that you can make a convincing argument for other guys. Like one of the things that I've mentioned randomly. I don't think I've ever actually mentioned it on any of the streams or anything like that. Just like friends and passing stuff like that when people talk about stuff. If Kevin Garnett was on the San Antonio Spurs, Kevin Garnett is probably looked at as a top 10, 15 player all time. Right? Like if Kevin Garnett was on the Spurs in Tim Duncan's role, could you imagine, like, San Antonio probably have as many, if not more, championships, and we'd be talking about Kevin Garnett more than we'd be talking about Tim Duncan. Like, I don't think there'd be any question. Like, what can Kevin Garnett do, or what can Tim Duncan do that Kevin Garnett can't? And Kevin Garnett's just the better defender, more versatile shot blocker, better mover, athlete. But yes, give me Jokic. Jokic is, hands down. Jokic is unbelievable. Like, I mean, him by himself is everything you need. So I'm with you, but appreciate you. Thank you for super chat. Let's see. Andrew coming out $2 super chat. Would you call for Rob to be fired if Denver gets Zach? I would still want to wait and see what the end result of the team looks like, but I would not be happy, right? Like, I would not be like, I would be very frustrated, but I am somebody, the fan in me would be, but the, you know, guy that feels like I have a responsibility to let cooler heads prevail, I'd want to wait for the end result. If let's say Denver gets Zach LaVine, if you're the Lakers, you have to, in my opinion, you have to go now get Brandon Ingram and then still go get Dorian Finney-Smith, Day'Ron Sharpe, and probably somebody else, right? Like at that point, your hope is that Brandon Ingram can kind of not to the level. I worry about the fit, but you at that point you got to take the chance. You have no choice but to get that ceiling raiser, and the only guy that's left is Brandon Ingram, and then you still need to go get those other pieces. So if let's say Denver gets Zach LaVine, if you're the Lakers, you have to go and get Brandon Ingram, right? I know he's hurt. I know all the concern. I know everything. You have no choice. You have no choice. You have to, at that point, go get that guy that can help kind of take over. But yeah. And then Andrew said, do you really think Lakers are going to make a move, going to make real moves? Depends on what you define as a real move, right? Like, do I think the Lakers are going to make a trade? Yes. I am very confident that the Lakers, like, again, I don't like to speak in definitives because it's sports. I'm like 99% sure that the Lakers make some move. Does that mean it's the trade that, oh, that's it. There we go. Is it 2023 all over again? No. But I think bare minimum, they go get a Valanciunas or something like that. My concern is that the Lakers go and get a Valanciunas and then just stop, right? Like, do I believe that the Lakers will make a trade? Yes. Yes. I don't know if they'll make the trades necessary to pull us over the top. That I don't know. I am, like I said, I am as close to 100% unless something catastrophic happens, right? Like, I don't even want to talk about that, right? Like, unless something catastrophic happens, I am very confident that the Lakers make a move. Again, what is that move? That I don't know. That we'll see. I think minimum it'll be like I said, a Valanciunas or something. But anyway, I'm gonna get on it. Oh, Andrew just came in hot with one more super chat. All right. It's Rob, bro. It's over. Jonas and call it a day. That's my concern right there. Like, honestly, that's where I worry, is that it'll be something like that, or it'll be like, or if it's not Jonas, like it'll be like Jonas and like Cody Martin, right? And it's like, hey, we got a 3-and-D win and we got a center. What more do you want from me? That's my concern. We're like, yes, I would love to have those two guys on top of 2 or 3 other guys, right? Like, but that's my concern. I don't have the confidence that Rob is going to pull off 3-4 trades, or get 3-4-5 guys, right? My hope is that happens, right? Like that, my hope is that, like, let's say the Lakers trade for Valanciunas, right? Just using him as an example. That'll be step one, kind of like in 2023 where we got Rui, and then the big trades came at the trade deadline. That's my hope. Fingers crossed. Let's see. It's time to accept Giannis over Duncan and KG by far. I don't know. Like KG, I think if he was anywhere else, or not anywhere else, because obviously, if he was on Charlotte back in the day or something, if he was on a Lakers, because there were talks about the Lakers were going to go get KG. If he was on like the Lakers or the Spurs, right, one of those like premier teams back in the day, or like Detroit or something like that, I think we'd be talking about Kevin Garnett very differently. Very differently. Like he didn't like win anything or like look like that guy until we got to until he went to Boston. And at that point he was like 32 or whatever. Right. So it's just all those prime years, I think was a problem. When you're in the West, right? Like Giannis, don't get me wrong, Giannis is great. is fantastic. But what does he look like when you can pack the paint and just stand there and he's got to run into Shaq and all these other big physical centers and power forwards, and every team basically has walls because no one shoots threes or anything like that. Like, I like Giannis a lot. I'm not saying he wouldn't be able to play in every era. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that he probably looks very different in that era, right? In those eras, right? Where I just think KG in particular, Duncan too, you can make an argument. They did more, right? Like, Giannis would still be great defensively, would still do a lot of things. His athleticism back then would have been insane, right? But, would he be so good that he's able to overtake Duncan and KG? I don't know about that, all right? But I love I love those kind of questions, the brain racking conversations. Every time AR plays well, it sets the LA Lakers back. Yeah, because they're like, we don't need a trade. We're good. What do we need LaVine for? We got Reaves. I don't know. I'm hopeful that the Lakers see what we all see, right? I'm hopeful that the Lakers see that, we need a trade because, Austin Reaves, yes, today was great. Had a fantastic game. No doubt about it. No questions, no ands, ifs, buts, nothing. Excellent game from him. But we've also seen that, the next game against Sacramento, the guy might lay a dud. I've said it before. You cannot confidently say you know what Reaves is going to show up. You can't, right? Like, you're losing a lot of money if you're betting on Austin Reaves over 15 points a night, right? Like, it's just, you're not winning very much money, right? Like, because you can't count on it on a regular night. Kuzma for Giddey, Dennis Schroeder for 2 seconds. Rob has sold. I'm hopeful that Dennis Schroeder kind of reset the market a little bit. You're seeing the prices drop, which is good, right? That's a good start. And they dropped already. Usually they don't drop till, a couple weeks out from the trade deadline. Giddey was actually, like, for Denver, or not Denver, Chicago, and at the time, right? Like, Giddey made more sense for Chicago. The rebuilding, you get a serviceable, sizable center or point guard. He's also like, what is he, like 6'7", something like that. I honestly thought that was a very fair trade. Like, I thought both sides got exactly what they needed in that trade. I thought that was one of the more fairer trades, period. But the Dennis Schroeder for 2 seconds is, that's something needs to change there personally. But anyway, thank you, Andrew. Thank you, everyone that gave me super chats. I really do appreciate it. I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to go record some videos, get everything done. I got to be up like extra early. One of my kids got an award ceremony, so I got to be up extra early in the morning to go to that and do that. Andrew, trying to keep me on the stream. I appreciate you. LaVine is so underrated. It's criminal. Look, I'm preaching to the choir here, buddy. Look, like, again, LaVine opens up so much for the Lakers. It makes them more dynamic. I said it earlier. He would be our best scorer, like natural scorer. Doesn't mean best player, just scoring wise, natural scorer. He'd be our best scorer on the roster by a good margin. Good margin. And he's having an insane season. Right? If he can translate that, like, you're not beating the Lakers in a 7-game series. You're not. It's not happening. I don't see it personally. But again, appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. Thank you all so much. Real quick, on your way out, please take a quick second, hit that like button. Did we get to 100 likes? What are we at? Let me we are at, come on. We're at 59 likes. Hit that like button. Please take a quick second. You have no idea how much it helps. Hit that subscribe button on the way out if you're not subscribed. And we got Sacramento again right around the corner. So let's go get that W. Let's go get that win. You people are beautiful. I appreciate you. And I will see you guys, Saturday? Saturday. Yeah, at least Saturday. So see you guys soon.